Greetings, programs. This is Let's Code a Full 90, where we'll take the next hour and a half, dig into some source code, and try to make our part of the world a little bit of a better place. I'm your host, Rob Menching, and today we're going to be digging into the Wix toolset. This is episode 17, where we're continuing our path down, making semantic versioning work in the Wix toolset. Last week, semantic versioning worked to a degree, and if you were here 3 episodes ago, we had a fantastic exploration of what that meant. And now we're just trying to put all the pieces together. And I have to admit, right now, it's a little bit of a mess. I feel like I'm deep in tearing things apart, throwing them all over the place. And at some point, I'm just gonna have to pause and bring a lot of the parts back together. I'm excited about what we're gonna get done here. I'm excited to get to the other side of it, honestly, and kind of see how I want to start using it. I think that's actually where I'm at, which is always a dangerous part when I start getting impatient. I'm like, all right, I gotta stop, make everything work really well with what we have right now. So, what are we doing today? Well, like I hinted at, we are going to start picking up the pieces. Last week we ported the native code implementation of Wix version, which has support for 4-dot versions and semantic versions and some variations on top of that, trying to absorb lots of what we've seen in the real world and be able to handle those mostly inside Burn, as it is the bundle that will capture across multiple different types of installation technologies. So it tries to be able to handle all kinds of different versions might handle out there. That code is already written. We need to bring it in the Wix toolset and manage code so that we could validate and give good error message as a part of the build pipeline, so that you could say, hey, that's not actually a version. You need a version there. But version no longer means major, minor, build, revision. It now means more complicated things than that. And that's what we did last week, if you weren't here with us here back then. And that's what all of this code is inside this class. And you can see we have some red dashes here from nCrunch telling us that some tests are failing. And as I remember it, we're picking right up where we left off. The issue here is that the error message here is incorrect. I don't think I can make this that much bigger in the corner, but it says something here. Expected, we should look like fix error message here. And right now it says should look like XXX and things like that. All right. So the error message at this point is wrong, which is fine. We can fix that. I think we probably should fix that before we move on. Let me make sure both of these are correct failures. Oh no, this is throwing those type of exception. No exception was thrown. All right, we're going to start with these two things here. We're going to start with these two error messages real quick. Kind of cleaning them up, getting in place, and then we're going to go start putting all the parts together, because we started at the top and kind of figured out where are all the parts that need to handle versions and marked a bunch of them out there, things that need to be validated. And then we jumped down and started trying to implement this low-level thing, and I decided let's go get the actual version parsing handled, which this class now does for us. Fantastic. Just a port of the C++ code, which is important because that's all it's doing is error checking against that C++ code. Now we have to start going and gluing all the parts together. Now that we have this, as I would think of it, at the bottom, the ability to parse the versions, and we've bounced around a little bit at the very, very top, where all of the interfaces have to be used and glued, and now we have to stick it all together, which is just going to be a little bit messy, because hooking the interfaces, we have to then build the interfaces, get them in the right shape, and then implement them inside the core. But if you want to look at how the core tool set is put together, this is going to be another one of those episodes that's going to be kind of interesting at getting the guts in there. But I think we should at least take a quick look at these error messages, these errors, these tests that are not passing, and at least kind of make sure we get them in a better shape. So here, I always wish XUnit would give me a little bit more detail here. All right, so I'm going to have nCrunch help me and show test coverage for only this here. And so we're getting this error message. Expected, this should look like fix error message here. Where do we have legal versions should look like? Oh, there it is. I just scroll off the screen. Fix error message here. That was a nice little placeholder to tell me, hey, you know what? You need to fix this. Also, Bob has been telling me that we don't put 2 spaces after periods anymore. He just point out. I knew that already. I don't know why. I'm sure I did this because I was the only one that was doing this. There was a point in time when I thought 2 spaces after periods was the appropriate legal or appropriate grammar, Oxford style, whatever. I don't do that anymore, but it definitely was a thing I remember doing when I first started Microsoft and I started writing formal emails to everybody else inside the company, being terrified. I also remember struggling because the address book was listed by everybody's first name, and I didn't know people's first names. I only knew their last names. I remember those days. Anyway, what are we doing? We're going to go remove this space, and we're going to go put this version number correct. And we're going to have to figure out how to state what kind of version we want. Because, like I said, Wix version supports all kinds of interesting things now, like semantic versioning. And some cases in the Wix toolset, we, of course, cannot support those. So we have to kind of work our way through that problem. All right. First things first, let's go figure out where this message is being sent. So I'm going to go the other way here. So you can see these red highlights are still showing up, which means that I right-clicked, and down here in the corner, I have nCrunch showing me all the failures for this particular test. So it's only the code touched by this test. So it's a quick way of filtering out all of the other tests that might be coming through this code, so I could hopefully narrow down the string that's being presented. And I bet it's this one right here. Yeah, illegal version value, source da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, this is over in error messages, illegal version value. And error messages is part of Wix toolset.data. So historically, the Wix toolset had all of our error messages in one ginormous class. We did that so we have a consistent set of error numbers, or rather, we didn't duplicate the error numbers. That was the goal of it, but it was pretty unwieldy. And as we started breaking up pieces, we've somewhat stopped doing that, but a lot of the error messages were still left in data, and it's not going to happen in Wix 4, but at some point we need to go through and decide what set of error messages are globally universally useful for everybody to have access to, and keep those maybe in data, maybe somewhere else, and data being the lowest building block of the Wix toolset assemblies. It's the thing that you use to open files, the various Wix files and things like that. Otherwise has very little code in it. It's also all the symbol definitions. It's designed to be just data, not a lot of code outside of loading and saving file formats. And in this case, containing lots of error messages that then often get used by extensions and things like that built on top of Wix toolset. So there's some helpful error messages in there, but there's also some that are very specific to minutia of the Wix toolset. I've been trying to slowly, cut down a number of those, and now there are error messages for compiler, and there are error messages for the Windows installer bundle backend and the burn backend and things like that. But we definitely could use more for cleaning it up. But as it is, we need to go jump over to the data project. Oh, hey, look, we didn't end up with anything in episode 16. I'm going to drop this here. 17. I think it's because I just left it too. All right. Nothing happened. Haha. Not exactly. Nothing bad happened. We'll see if we get any to-dos out of this. When we get done with this, we'll have to go back and review all of them. All right. So what did I want to do? Sorry. I want to use this Visual Studio Code. Let's make it a little bit bigger. There we go. There we go. And let's go find the illegal version value. I use Visual Studio Code, just open it up to the root, and it'll go find inside Wix toolset.data for me the error message that we want to look at. So here we go. The message we get back, this attribute's value is not a valid version. And if we look at our error message from here, we could say, yeah, not a valid version, legal version is required. All right, so first things first, remove that space. Legal version should look like XXXXX, where X is an integer from 0 to 65534. Yeah, so that's not completely true anymore, because the 0 to 65534 is actually much larger now. I think it's all the way up into the whatever a D word can hold, I think is the max number now. And we can also have all of the semantic version parts to it. So I'm debating how much do we want to say here. There's also complications in that sometimes these version numbers are used in cases where there's even more restrictions, as we talked about, the primary one being the product version of the MSI can't even have this format because, because the first number has to be 0 to 255. And I wonder if there's an issue if you put a number in there, let's say you put, F, or you just make a typo and then you see this legal versions here, and it tells you, hey, you could do any number through this. So you then do that, and then later on you get an error message saying, if you use this syntax here for a product version, later on you get an error message saying, hey, by the way, that's not a valid product version. You're like, but I had an error message that first told me I could use all 4 of these, and then later on an error message saying that I can't use that number. Is that bad? The challenge here is that the compiler won't always know the version, what a valid version is downstream. It can guess a lot of times, but it won't know for sure. So it's better off for us to let the backends specifically say what they are. But we are trying to check that it fits the first syntax. Legal version values should be I'm inclined to should be 4-part version, such as yada yada yada. And I think I'm going to remove that and say number. This is a day where I need Bob to know for my wordsmithing here. Should be a 4-part version. Is this or semantic version such as, let's see, number dash pre-release number. See, I'm afraid even to do that because semantic versions are so much more open. I can't even describe them. Or not quickly, not in a short, concise error message. What can I say here? Maybe I just shouldn't say legal version values. So many decisions there. Number. Attribute value is not a valid version. Legal version. 0 to 1 attribute value. This is not a valid version. So if I don't, so I'm trying to get to a place where error messages, how does it say it's the, I used to remember this quip quickly. It's the, you say what went wrong, and then you try to, it's like, I thought it was 3 sentences. It was definitely, you say what is wrong, and then you try to explain how to fix it. And maybe somewhere in there was a why it's wrong. It gets really hard sometimes to do that. So like here, the illegal value blank for WXN command line option. Specify a particular warning value like this to display a warning with that, or all alone to suppress all warnings, right? See, that's a nice error message telling you kind of how to work it out. I guess I could try that. It's not a valid version. Specify a version. Specify a 4-part version, such as that, or a semantic version, such as. This is where semantic version is so much more open. And also we have more. We also allow the 4 dots here, just in case, just to handle some of the cases where that happened. Let's see. A 4-part, specify a 4-part or semantic version, period. 4-part version or semantic version. Yeah, attributes value this. It's not a valid version. Specify a 4-part version or semantic version. So many options. All right, how about this? Such as number dot number dot number dot number, or how about number dot number dot number dash label dot number. How about we do that? And we're still ending in periods. All right, I think I'm gonna do something like that, such as that or that. Let's try that message. Specify. All right, okay, good. So now I'm gonna go over here. Nope, I wanna go to the test. It's not about specify a 4-part version such as that or that. Man, those number signs, not very pretty, but let's see how that goes. And this thing said it didn't fail. All right, so let's look at why this didn't fail then. Okay. Too many spaces. I said 1 space. All right, cool. Now, oh, this test did not fail. Oh, because that number's not, this test is wrong. That's not big enough to fail. Although, right, that's not big enough to fail our Wix versioning test. How big is too big to fail? Too big to fail. Haven't heard that term in quite a while. Let's see, what was it? Ver util unit test, yada yada. And I need to find the number that's in here somewhere is the code that said large. There we go. That passes. I think that fails. Let's put that in there. Okay. Let's see if this one fails. There we go. Now it's failing with the same message I had before. Okay. So those 2 things are good now. This number's bonkers big though. Crazy huge. All right, it's not about specify 4-part version. Okay. Cool. So now for the part that I don't like. This is the thing that I want to improve, but because we went and rebuilt or messed up we changed the data layer here in these error messages, I unfortunately have to go back, and for the sake of time, the fastest way to do that right now is just clean everything and build everything. I'm not happy about that. It's something I really need to spend some time and make better in the Wix experience, because when you have to switch between layers of our systems where the data is often a separate layer from the core tool set itself, then when you build across them, which you don't have to do tons if we got the layering right, but when you do, the clean mechanisms don't work out well enough, and Visual Studio keeps reusing the same files for me, which is very frustrating, and it's just something I need to spend some time fixing. But I've been choosing to fix various bugs in Wix 4 instead of hit this because it hasn't been slowing me down as much. But it is a disappointing part of the system that I do want to work on. Anyway, so we're going to let that come back up, bring up this here, and let this all load back up. All right, so if that brings our test, whoops, didn't mean to minimize that. Hopefully that'll bring our tests in line as soon as our build catches up to us. Now, we looked at the TriParse. Where are you used? Come on, thank you. One reference here. Get attribute version value. So this is used in the parse helper, which is used by the compiler for parsing all attribute version values. Haha, look. By the way, our 2 tests that were failing before are now passing, which is great. Great. And is our build still going? Yes. Good. All right. So that's great progress. So this implements our generic version handling underneath the whole compiler. So the compiler can parse versions that are all the various different types of the entire space of Wix version that's out there. And now I want to go look at, let's see, who do I want to go look at next? So we have from the compiler, we have to go then to, I want to get to the bind bundles is where I want to get to at some point. Why are we not here yet? Still loading? All right, cool. Yeah, this is what I want to see. The process MSI package command in bundles. This is the one I want to do. The is valid Wix version was a dangling function that we need to go solve. Does not contain a definition for isVat and no accessible. Oh, okay, let's just open this real quick. And I think what we said was MSI process package version. Right, so we said on the backend helper, right, we would have an isValid Wix version. And we need to check this to make sure it's a proper MSI version, actually. Because we want to spit out a warning if it's an invalid MSI version in this case, so that we can tell the user, hey, by the way, Burn's going to look at this as this kind of version. And hopefully it'll all work out. Okay. So we don't actually need isValid Wix version here. We need isValid MSI version. Okay. Now, do we want to put that in the backend helper? We might need to. This MSIism, Windows installer spanning the backend and the Windows installer backend. Is it generally a useful thing? It's actually just the product version. It's not even the MSI version. It's the MSI product version. It is valid MSI product version. Do I want to promote that to the backend helper and make it available to everybody? Or do I just want to write a function in here that then I have to share between the two backends, both when you're building a bundle and when building an MSI? It's not a lot of code. So I think I want isValid Wix version as a helper. That feels like something right. And then I guess I could have an isValid MSI product version since we deal with them so much. It's just a question is, should that be a general, is that general purpose enough across everything? Let's look at the backend helper. So this backend helper is just a raw I backend helper. So if we go look at the other things that are on I backend helper, which is over in the Extensibility Services, we can see it has things like creating the file facades, a file facades for merge module. Yeah. This is hangovers from these. This is very specific to Windows installer. This should not be on this backend helper. All right. Creating a GUID, and I noticed this says MSI compatible GUID, but this also creates it in a bundle compatible GUID because we have a couple of places where GUIDs are created and we want to make sure they're the same everywhere. This is a nice create GUID from a namespace. So you can generate stable GUIDs essentially from that. Create resolve directory. This is very Windows installer specific. Is this used at all in Burn? It might be used in Burn. All right, let's look real quick. I'm just curious because I haven't looked in a while. All the places that create resolve directory is used. It is create resolve directory. Yeah, so we build up the directory table when processing bundles or processing MSI packages inside bundles so that we can then find non-compressed files. Uncompressed files? Uncompressed files. All right. Extract embedded files is a thing for Wix slips. Generate identifier. Yep. Okay. Canonical relative path. All right. Get valid code page. Get MSI file name. All right. I guess this interface is dirty enough with MSI specific stuff that we'll go with that. Oh, is valid 4-part version is nice. Let's go look at the definition for that. Actually, let's just see everywhere is valid 4-part version is used. So there is its implementation, and it's just checking that it's not out of range for the 655, the max of a typical D word. The compiler core has it implemented. This we're going to have to change. Ooh, I'm going to save this code. We'll have to come back for that one. Because is valid module or bundle version. Bundles can have much more interesting versions now. Let's see. Is valid 4-part version. This is in the backend helper. All right, that's using our common. Is valid 4-part version. There's 2 of them. Wait. Oh, that's the. Oh, sorry. Found the calls there. And the burn backend helper has exposed it. All right, that's a pass through. And the Windows installer backend helper. Right. So these guys implement all the backend helpers. So there's a Windows installer specific backend helper and a burn specific backend helper. And if we look at these guys real quick, we will see, oh, that's not backend helper. Am I in the right file now? Yeah, burn backend helper. We'll see that they implement the iBurn backend helper, and then the iBurn backend helper implements iBackend helper. So it's essentially functions that we deemed useful to be used across the extensions and the backends and things like that. And there's some stuff that is specific to burn mostly around the XML generation. I think it's all around XML generation. Yeah. And where around Windows installer, there's lots of various pieces around, well, let's just look instead of me trying to guess. We can find it here. Windows installer backend helper. Yeah, it has stuff around creating rows and those kinds of things. And here is valid product version. See, I already had this debate with myself, and I put it inside the Windows installer backend helper. Is valid product version. And if we go look where this is used, is valid. Oh, wait. Is valid product version. Oh, did I not search? Okay. Control C, Control Shift F, Control V. Is valid product version. Thank you. Didn't do the search correctly the first time. There's that. Yep. And then there's the try to parse. Although this is going to throw if you give it. Okay. We can improve this code. And this is in the compiler core. This is used for patching. That's probably wrong. But yes, what is this doing? Version, patch families. Nah, it might be right. Yeah. And then bind database command. It has our warning where we validate the version. Yep. And then there's our implementation of it. Try to parse it, and then there's our checks. Okay, yep, that's the code we found before. So one option is to promote this code to the backend helper. Essentially take this function and move it up a level, and probably call it isValid MSI product version. The alternative is to duplicate it. Oh, gosh. No, wait. 2553. That's not right. Right? That's not right. That can't be right. 3. No, that is. That's right. Wait. Don't do math on stream, Rob. Don't. It never works out for you. Look at the version number. 6. Oh, wait. This is MSI product version. All right. Let's not guess. Let's go double check. We'll open this MSI product version. MSI product version property. MSI product version, or the version. The third has a max of that number. 65535. 6. Yeah, that's it. That is a typo. 65535. Maximum is 65535. 65. Okay, great. Whew. Well, that says put it in one place so you don't make that typo in multiple places. Or just go, it's one check. Basically a function, put it where you need it. Don't know. Is it worth making it a general solution? Obviously thought it was in the Windows installer backend because it was that done. Please don't duplicate it. Or, going to read, I don't like using the same version code everywhere. That is a version. I should use different compiler code for the product in front. Yes. But there's a method to my madness for those things. So I get that. There's a method to my madness. So I think that says then that we promote this to the backend helper. Is a valid thing. But now I have to change the name of it. I need to put MSI product version in there because it won't make sense. Could be really confusing otherwise. All right. Let's go do that. Okay. Okay. Let's see what happens. Windows installer backend helper. Yes, thank you. So we're going to call you MSI product version as a valid MSI product version. The MSI is a valid MSI product version. You don't go there. Now we go to backend helper and is valid 4-part version, is valid MSI product version, and then I want to add is valid Wix version. Verifies give string is a valid Wix version. 4-part version. That's all it needs to say. That's all it needs to say is a valid, because that's 4-part version. So a lot of these things, these interfaces were extracted from Wix 3, where the code was just like all kinds of twisted and just bound up on itself after many years of just kind of accreting stuff, trying to maintain backwards compatibility, and honestly not having a real solid separation, a view of the separation that needed to happen. So in Wix 4, we've tried to pull things apart, and I don't know that we've got it all correct, but we're farther along, I think, we're another step down the path. I'm not going to say we're farther along or that we've got it right yet, but this, at least I think we have a lot more of we have the parts the high level pieces in place, like the concept of backend helper, the concept of Windows installer backend helper, the concept of iBurn backend helper, that honestly you don't even see any of this stuff unless you're creating extensions. If you're creating extensions, then you'll appreciate having these things around. At least that's the intent. The challenge, of course, is that I don't know that we've written enough different kinds of extensions to know if we've validated this for real. So I firmly expect we're going to have this go out in 4. We're going to hit a whole class of things that we're disappointed with, that did not go the way we hoped they would. And we will then be learning from that and taking the learning and putting it in V5. So maybe this, when I'm sweating the exact design of this, maybe some of it's just like, I'm not going to get it right. So relax a little bit, do what seems right at this point in time, and then go from there. So Wix version, MSI product version, 4-part version, binder variable, that. And Windows installer backend helper, I removed the is product version, and we're going to have to then go fix a bunch of code because it's all going to break, because the code that depended on that will break. I don't know that we need is valid 4-part version anymore, but we probably will somewhere. Yeah, we'll probably need it at least for like file versions and things like that. We'll probably need that somewhere. At least that's my guess. So we'll keep that one. We definitely need this new one, and this next one is valid Wix version. I think is going to be useful as we go around. All right. What's next? What's next is, I think I have to, let's go ahead and, whoops, wait, I saved that. Okay. Backend helper. All right, I think we have all of this in the right shape now. Do my little song and dance that I really need to fix. If I do this enough times, it's definitely going to come to the top of my list of things to do. All right, so while that's going along, we have valid 4-point version, valid MSI product version, is valid Wix version. And we're now going to go into the core. So the way this works is that this is in the, if we go up here, this is the Wix toolset extensibility. So I talked about Wix toolset.data as the raw data about the Wix toolset. The extensibility are the interfaces that are published to the outside world of things that the Wix toolset allows you to grab and hold on to, use, and otherwise extend. So if you want to write an extension, then you're going to use this extensibility interface and the data interface, because lots of the things you need will need from data. So that's the only 2 parts you need. You don't actually need to have the Wix toolset itself. You just take these 2 things, you build against these interfaces, and then you can be an extension into the Wix toolset, and it's fantastically cool. Works great. At least that's the theory. It is working for the extensions we've written. So when I'm editing the extensibility project, assembly, this thing here is it's just interfaces. There's no there's no implementation. There's almost no implementation. There's a couple base abstract classes that help you write, compiler extensions, or Windows installer decompiler extensions is coming, and a change I just did, and just different kinds of extensions. It can help you with some of the general boilerplate code. So there's that. Let me make sure my build is still going in the background. Yes, good. Where are we at here? Yeah, okay, we're in Wix. So these interfaces end up being the way that you can interact with the Wix toolset pipeline through extensions and all that kind of stuff. But there's essentially no real code in here. All the code is implemented by the core, because in the end, the core, the Wix itself, is the thing that hosts your extension, and it provides the implementation behind these interfaces, because that's what you're going to talk to. All right, so let's go ahead and pop back into the core, the Wix solution. I call it the core because that's kind of that was the old name, and a lot of this is implemented in Wix toolset.core, but it's all in the Wix layer. All right, we don't need that open right now. I'm just going to let nCrunch kind of wake up and tell me all the things that are broken. Because a fair bit is broken now. Yeah, see, when we're broken in core, we're not going to get very far at all. So this is telling me that here's the implementation of the backend helper in the core itself. It implements this interface and then exposes that out to your extension. So we need to, first things first, implement the changes that were done here. And the changes are, is valid Wix version. Hey, we already did is valid Wix version. I just need is valid, what I call it, MSI product version. Yay, look, now Core's building. All right, let's go do Core Windows Installer next. And he's upset because I do not implement is valid MSI product version. Right, so is valid MSI product version, is valid. Okay, is a pass-through. So, like I said, Windows Installer Backend Helper is an implementation of Backend Helper, so I need to bring it down. Is valid, I need MSI product version, and I'm just passing that along to the Backend Helper. And is valid, what was it, Wix version. Wix version, and I pass that along to the parent. All right, all these red squiggles are because we're using the arrow notation, which I thought was kind of cool for a while, but I've come to decide that it's not my favorite, and I've been moving away from it pretty globally, just interfaces. So that's what the red squiggles are basically telling me. Use block bodies for methods. I don't want to fix that right now with all the other changes that are going on. Windows Installer does bind database, does not have a definition for product version. That's correct. We now want to do MSI product version. There. So that's now implemented. And we're going to jump over to Burn pretty soon. I think he's next. He also needs to implement, pass through those two versions that we just did for Windows Installer version. So just like he passes through, so shall the Core Burn Backend Helper. It does not contain definition for invalid Wix version. Oh, all right, very good. Yeah, see? And now we have this check for is valid Wix version. So we're not doing that. MSI product version. Okay, now invalid MSI product version. And there's no warning message for invalid product version. That surprises me. Oh, no warning. They're probably all errors? And this has a source path. This says which MSI we would have had it on. That's interesting. All right, this is where you jump over into the error messages. And just for reference, right, there's 2,000 lines of error messages in here. I mean, it's not 2,000 lines because error messages are, well, here's the enum that makes sure we have unique numbers. But each error things returns a message object with all the data on it. And I'm looking for error messages that have the word version in them. Version. Thank you. Illegal version, version mismatch, version invalid product version. Hey, we do have one. Let's see. Invalid product version. Product version must have at least major version that, and a version less than that. Okay, so that says that we do have invalid product version, which ideally, and then here's one for package path. Oh, when included in a bundle, all product versions this must have when included in a bundle, all version MSI must be less than 65536. All product version fields must be less than 65536. But that's not true anymore. They don't have to be. Anyway, I'm looking in the error messages. I need to look in the warning messages. Let's look in the warning messages real quick and see if there are any warning messages that talk about version. I really just want to look at the enums to start. It's usually a good hint. Possibly incorrect type-lib version. That's not working. Invalid module or bundle version. Default, version, all this. These are all warnings. Target table incompatible with installer version? No. Version truncated. Ooh. That might be the one where yeah, this is the one before. Package is not valid per the MSI and cannot be represented in a bundle. It has been truncated to 2. All right. So that's still where we started a long time. I remember seeing that error message, and we're not doing that anymore. So I think we can bring the error message here. Let's bring this one over and tweak it a little bit because we're not truncating. So before we had to take whatever the MSI had and turn it into things that were valid, bundle Wix version syntax. And so now that we support such extremely large numbers with all the bells and whistles, we don't have to do that the same. We're just going to spit out a warning here. So invalid product versions, invalid product version. Do I really want to say invalid? I guess warning, invalid product version. Product version should. Problem is that this is a warning. Should have a major version less than 256, a minor version less than 256, and a build version less than 65536. That's right. And yeah, I figured that. It's only used here. What do we want to say here now that we had this warning? Right, so this is the 3-part things. You say what's wrong. We had an invalid product version, blah. And we're going to do this in MSI package 1. Original version, package. We're not doing truncated version, so version. Package and version. There we go. I think that matches what we want it to be. Okay. I'm gonna fix this name. Let's just fix it real quick because this is the name we want. Invalid MSI product version. Invalid. Back. Thank you. All right. Invalid product version. Blah. In MSI package. That. Don't think we do the colon here. Product version should have a major version less than 256, a minor version less than 256, and a build version less than that. So this is tell what's wrong, tell why that's wrong, and then what does it may mean. Yeah, Sean just said the bundle may incorrectly detect upgrades. It is syntax OMA, the bundle may incorrectly detect upgrades for this package. Of this package, for this package, of this package, something. Yep. That's the last part of the sentence. That's why 3 sentences supposedly are great error messages if you could put the right words in them, and that's not always my best forte. All right, so there's that. So if it's that, now I think I also want to check this. If not is valid Wix version, then we have an invalid version. And this is an error message. Because Burn is going to choke on this. If somehow we get something that we can't even get in, then we're not even going to, well, Sean, should this be another warning or an error? Well, I guess I I guess if it's not a valid Wix version, it's not a valid MSI version. So if it's going to be a warning that's that, I'm just wondering if we should error here say, hey, we're not going to even be able to parse this message, or do we just leave it up to Burn to have whatever behavior it has? Because at least we spat out this warning. It's probably okay. Should never be an error. No, the error of if the bundle can't even parse the version number, what's Burn going to do if it can't even parse the string that's in the manifest? Like if it's just pure gobbledygook, what's the bundle going to do with the version there? I think that's the thing. Let's see. I'm just wondering if we need to protect against completely nonsensical version numbers. Or not. Or not is fantastic, because then Burn will just do the best effort with the product version. That's the part where I'm like, I don't know. It will always parse it. Yes, handing the nonsensical cases, right? So the question then, all right, so this is more restrictive than what Wix version is, so that's a fine warning message there. Then let's go look at exe packages real quick. Parse MSI, let's see, it should be right next to it. Yeah, there's parse exe package. And there's the version. So here we just grab the version from the payload, whatever that got set to. Should we have a warning here that essentially says the same thing if we can't parse it as a Wix version? Or does it matter? Because we don't do upgrades based off of this, right? Like, should we have something like that? Should we have a warning that says, hey, by the way, we have this version. It's nonsensical. Best of luck to you. But what do we do with the exe version anyway? Is it just there for display purposes? Install, repair. We don't have upgrade of exe versions. The string-based version instead of the 4-part version. Yes. So we don't care. Is the version for exe packages just for informational purposes then? I don't know if, yeah, how would Burn use it? Because we don't do upgrades for exes. Yeah, okay. We'll have to go see how these guys are getting set. Payload ref, that. Let's go jump to this. Oh, that came from the symbol. Yeah, okay, fine. So where did it all get set? Fine. We'll have to go figure out where this came from. I'll go double check it. Process exe package command. The facade. Get package facades. Let's see. So what we're looking at here is where was the exe, if we have exe packages, how do we get their version information? I'm thinking it's here. Maybe not. Not here. Packages, process payloads. There we go. This is don't delete execute. For the payloads, there's a source file. Grab that, update, package, payload packaging type, container. Yeah, get the standard information. Oh, yes, this. Right, okay. And then get the file information, length, size, oh, version information. All right, here we are. Yeah, use the fixed version info block for the file since the resource text may not be a dotted quad. Well, hey, we don't have to worry about that anymore. So let's see. Let's see the version info block. Version info, please. Is that product version? I think that's the string version of it. Yes. There's so many versions on these things. All right, there's the file version, product version. All right, great. So we want version equals that. Great. And I'm going to say if that is null or empty, if that is null or empty, use the fixed version info block for the file. Now wait, version info, oh, wait a minute. All right, version info dot version info dot file version is also string. Do I start with the product version, fall back to the file version, then fall back to the product parts? Or do you start with the file version? No, start with the product version, because that's the one that can be a string. This is all, where do these end up in the resources? Which of these is the right one? Empty version is version 000. Yeah, all right. Let's see. Back to the fixed version block info file. Yep. All right. Yada 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 yada. Gonna have to look at this probably, because I don't remember which of those is which and which one is better, the file version or the product version. And these are all numbers, number. It's interesting that we leave the version 0. Or completely blank if it was 0000, because 0000 is a valid version number. Should you have a blank version in the manifest if you have a 0.0.0.0 file? I need another name for this attribute. I don't know if I agree with that. So the version, when it doesn't have a piece of a version number in it, it will give you -1 for that part, and then when you do a toString on it, it leaves it blank, or it leaves it out. But I think you have to have a valid number for at least the first two. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's see. I don't know. I'm agonizing over this. Probably will just have to put a few tests into it. to come all the way back down through here. All right, that we have to build for. All right. Okay. I have to think about that one. All right. So I'm going to kick this build in the back. This is where it's not much fun. But so this is an example. I was talking about warning messages starting to be pulled deeper or pulled into like the core and not exposed publicly. This is an example of one of those is borderline. Before it was less. No, this one now is an example of one that probably should be pushed into the back end, or into the burn back end, because it says invalid product version that the product version should have this. That's all generic. But then this part here, the bundle may incorrectly detect upgrades of this package. That message makes this very bundle specific. And when we started Wix 4, in Wix 3, as I said, everything was in one place. In Wix 4, when we started, we just picked them all up and dumped them here. And this may be one of those that should live in the burn backend only, considering it talks specifically about bundles. But given that this was here and I'm essentially repurposing the number that it had before, 1148, I'm going to leave it in place for now. Because it's a slippery slope of, well, at some point then we should pull all of them out, or we need to do there's definitely a space for house cleaning to just sit and think about all of the error messages and just evaluate all of them as, is this generally useful for all extensions in Wix or not? And if not, then it probably shouldn't live in data and it should be pushed into the appropriate place where it lives. But all that also is a huge judgment call as well. Judgment call and judgment call and judgment calls. All right, so at least we're building more now. I think we've gotten rid of all the build failures. That's pretty good stuff. And now we're just failing in tests. That's great. Let's go fix that test. See why it's upset at me. It's interesting. Oh, I probably didn't implement that one right, because we have to go figure out how to get the parsing for that code available. Right. That's great. Let's go do that next. I want to start looking at my breakpoints or my bookmarks. This is for preprocessor. That was from our previous show. We're not doing that one now. Yeah, I do want to be able to come back here. Is valid module. Yeah, I do want to talk about this, or I need to go. This needs to be solved. So that's great that that's there. Hey, look, we're now getting all our code built. Yay. Now we have a test fail. Great. I love this because it's the same test that failed for the command line. And it said it threw an exception here, which makes sense. All right. Now we get to deal with this common thing. So common is this really nasty internal class inside Wix 3 that had, well, common stuff, things that were shared from what was the compiler and what was the backends. And and it was exposed, I think, at one point publicly for some reason, which was really, really bad. It was like a quick shortcut, and we should not have exposed it. Anyway, it's not exposed anymore, and it is still used for the same purpose of trying to share code from the front to the back, the front ends and the back ends, where, for example, if we need to parse binder variables in both the front end and the back end, we'll see that common, this thing is referenced, 4 different times. Once for the compiler core, and then again the backend helper. So common is a way where we kind of hid away these things. Yes, you. I want to get rid of you, I think. Oh, right. Okay. Anyway, we'll come back for you. All right. So this code is not. This is not good code. Anyway, we have a better way of implementing this, which is actually the point of where we're at. We need to implement the is valid MSI product version. And I thought I had a breakpoint on one of those implementations. Nope. All right, let's search for all cases of this, because I'm pretty sure we have a few of them. Whoop, that. Nope, just this one. Man, I thought I had this. Oh, verb build is greater than that. Oh, we did the not. Version dot TriParse. All right, so let's see. Here's one of them. Is valid farpoint version. Okay. This is. What is this doing? Oh, it's checking for the V syntax, and then it's using a version to check. Oh man, we have so many places where we're using version checks. Really should centralize this. Oh, this is in the extension manager. We don't care about that one. The parse helper. That's using Wix version. Yeah, that's good. Process bundle software and the software tags. Yep. All right. Extension manager, version scheme. Windows installer backend helper. Oh, it's in the Windows installer backend helper. See, I knew I left it somewhere. Great. This doesn't live here anymore. This is gone. This now lives in the backend helper because that's where we moved it. That. There we go. That's that code. So now the trick is this is in the backend helper. Oh, that's okay, I think. Now, the compiler. Now let's look at the Wix version, TriParse. Here we are in the parse helper. I think we just need to do this. Is valid Wix version. Oh, come on, Rob. Fat finger the Control C, Control V. There we go. Can I just do that? So there, we just say, hey, try to parse it. If it parses, it's valid. This one, we have to run a little bit more validation on. It has to match this syntax here. Okay. So now I have to go and find the other ones where we're still looking at this. Let's see. Okay, that's a preprocessor again. Jumping back around my bookmarks. Okay, I like having that bookmark. Is valid. I'm going to come back to you. Is valid product version. This one. Yeah, see, this has the extra check for binder variables, so it's a little bit different. I want this one and my backend helper. Can we see both of these at the same time and have enough screen real estate? No, not really. Is that major? Man, I really like the way this code is written compared to this one. Although, you know, actually, I think when this code was written, probably there was no TriParse on version. I think that came later. Let's see. So, is valid product version, and this is used in that one place. I don't think that's correct because it can be a bind variable. We have to check it anyway when we're building the patch. I'm debating keeping this check right now. Oh, shouldn't the is valid MSI product version ignore the fourth field? Is valid MSI product version ignore the fourth field? Try to parse the version. Oh, you're saying if we try to parse this thing, this will return false. So ignore that. It's true. I guess we could let. Well, but if it's not a valid 4-part version, then it's not a valid MSI version. So that's one. And then if it is a 4-part version, then it needs to meet these extra criteria. Major, minor, and build have to be the same. And revision isn't ignored. I think it's doing that, Sean. Yeah, because it doesn't look at the version or the revision part. So it's ignoring the 4th part. I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right. do I want to keep this? Where is this? This is in patch families. Oh, I haven't done enough patching lately to know what this is checking. The product code and the version. So this must be checking the MSI version. See, so what I'm struggling with is, this is an example where we would put something in common, where this would be common dot is valid product version, and then this would use common, and this would use the common thing. But I really don't like common. I would like it to go away, because it's just a dumping ground of all kinds of stuff. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there are things that are still in this class that don't get used at all. Anyway, so it bugs me. We have this here. A lot of other people like to put letters in the fourth field. Oh, letters in the fourth field of an MSI version. Oh. Yeah, I don't know that they don't say anything about the fourth version. So you're right, we would technically throw away, or we would throw warnings if you had letters in the fourth part of the MSI version. I don't know that people have been complaining about that a lot, but maybe that is the case for MSIs. I don't know if it's worth doing our own string parsing for that case. I don't know. Let's start here. We'll see where it goes from there. Oh, gosh, is valid long file name, is valid, 4-part version is valid, MSI product version. Fine. Fine. Then if we ever make it more complex, is valid MSI product, that, all of that. And this turns then into just calling common dot is valid MSI product version. Okay. Save that and then drop back over to compiler core. Now we can say return. It's a binder variable or common dot is valid MSI product version. There. That means it is a valid product version. All right. So that wires up those two guys. Ooh, can build package with bind variable. Product version must have a version less than that. Minor version. Ooh. Whoa. That means our checks are happening. All right, we'll come back to that. That's a good test. That's a good check. We will be looking at those very soon. All right, I need to not lose my place. Okay, I think I've decided this can stay just for that one case of patch handling, which I'll have to go tackle that. Now this, oh, it says there's 0 references. That would be great. All right, great. That solves that. I didn't like the name of that thing anyway. Okay, groovy. Okay. So we have some tests failing because we're using the, oh, well, that's true. This is supposed to be failing. All right, can build semantic version MSI. Oh, did I add that? We'll have to go look at that. And all right, so we have these tests to get working for one, and then we also have the tests for we need to write some tests that have bundles with semantic versions in them because they should now be allowed. Yeah, actually, maybe we have some here. All right, let's look at this one. Version equals blank. Ooh, all right. Well, this is a fascinating bug. This says it looks like the version was dropped completely, which is strange. All right, close that. Let's spend a little time getting our bundles fixed up here. or sorry, our test fixed up here. All right, and yeah, let's just start with the can build simple bundle. All right, can build simple bundle. We need to go look at the test data for this as well. Let's close all this up. Look at our tests. We are in the core integration fixture. So we're doing integration tests here. And we want to look at the test data simple bundle. So our test data simple bundle. Simple bundle. All right. And we want to know that the version gets set to 1.000, but it's actually getting set to 42. So who's wrong here? Oh, yeah, no, the version is set to this MSI, whatever the MSI is set to. Okay. So we got to go back and look at our test. The test builds the bundle. All right. The code pulls in the test MSI, which is probably in data, and there's test MSI. All right, let's go. Oh, you know what? I hard coded 42 somewhere, I bet. That seems like something I would have done. All right, let's go ahead and open this file. Copy the full path. Open up Orca. Just make sure our data property product version is 1.0.0. Okay, so the actual is 1.0.0. Expected actual is 42. All right, let's go figure out where did I put 42 into the world, because that was clearly a silly thing to have done. But I'm glad I did put something silly in the world. Oh, I know why. Is that going to be too much? Yeah, that's going to be too much. Whoa. All right, so much for remembering where we left off. Let's go look at bundle backend. I remember us. No, this is, I want the actual bind the bundle command. I remember putting in a hacked version because I said we're going to have to do work around processing the version of the bundle because it can be more complex than it was before. Let's see. All right, gotta remember where we left that. Well, it's gonna be when we generate the manifest. All right, let's do our trick before. Show code from this selected test only. And we can see the last thing we get to. It's just gonna be down here closer about generate manifest data. Create bootback manifest, and then non-UX containers, and create the burn manifest command. I'm pretty sure that's the one that we want, I think. No. La-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. All right, so what am I looking for? The failure is in the in the manifest, the version. Wait, this is not what's failing. Oh, this is in that manifest. Oh. That manifest. That's the this is the assembly manifest that can be put inside. What do they call that? The what's it called here? The bundle extension manifest, bootstrap application manifest. Which one of these is it that does it? Yeah, the side-by-side manifest. That's it. The fusion manifest. Ugh, okay, I got it. I can just search for that, I think. There we go. Bundle fixture, but oh, nope. I was trying to cheat, hoping I could find it. Depending assembly. That should be pretty unique. Bundle fixtures, create bundle exe. Fine, here we go. Bundle platform. Bundle platform. Yeah, bundle assembly version. Windows assembly version. Okay. Yep. What is the Windows assembly version? That's passed in. Generate application manifest, application manifest. Get Windows assembly version. Why could I not find 42.0? Whatever. Yeah, this is what I was thinking. Okay, so here we want to get the 4-part version. So I think the answer here is to do ensure the bundle provides a 4-part version. If Wix version, no, wait. No, that's right. If Wix version TriParse bundle symbol version out Wix version, let's call it that. Can you please find that for me? Got me. This is in the back end, the burn back end. That doesn't have access to this code because that's just in the core. Of course. You got me. You got me. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out where to expose this to the backends. Does Wix version become a data thing? I don't know if I even debated that. Did I debate that before? Did I debate that Wix version? Yeah, did I debate that Wix version being part of Wix toolset.data? I might. I don't really want to make it part of extensibility because extensibility, I want to have very little code in it. I don't really want that amount of code in Wix toolset.data either, but this thing, Wix version, may be a useful enough piece that it just needs to be promoted. It definitely needs to be promoted out of the core to be shared across all these things. Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. All right, we're going to pretend for a second that we have access to it. And we're going to look at this. Yep, see, there it is. This is why I wanted to parse these things. Remember when I was questioning whether I was going to need all 4 parts of these things? I was like, no, I don't need these things. I do, because I want to try to create the best Wix version dot. Hey, look, I even called it the right things. We're going to make this a 4-part version anyway. All right, so Wix version major, if it has a value, return that. Otherwise, return 0. And I basically want this for all of those. We call it patch now because that's what Semver calls it. It's fine. If not that, then I don't know what we do. All right, so if it's greater than that, oh. I don't like that either. We'll throw that for now. Yeah, we need to pick up error message. You know what? I'm not. Error messages. This is the way to do it, Rob. Cannot parse bundle version as Wix version. There. That'll leave me in a good spot. All right. And then cannot parse bundle version as 4-part version. We'll go with that. Otherwise, return that version. There we go. There we go. That'll leave me in a good spot to remember where we were at on this thing. there we go. Okay. I remember this problem now. The bundle version needs to be turned into a 4-part version for this here. It also needs to do that. See, I think we're going to need this more than once, unless this is also used. Where is this version used? So it goes in there, and then we update the burn version resources. Great. And we use the Windows assembly version, which is kind of funny. It's basically the file part version. Now this, we don't want the product version. The file version is the 4-part version. I'm still thinking that. And then this is bundle info dot version. We want the string version for that one. Wait, right? That's oh no. All right. So DTF wants us to make that a version instead of a string. Oh wait, but here then is the string versions. Okay. All right, we're gonna have to look and see what this does versus these strings and who ends up winning in the world of all those things being set. I'm going to put this back here and to do how does this interact with the set below? There. Okay, that's a nice breaking change to put us in the correct spot when we get to it, because we're running out of time this week, as you could tell while I'm going to run around putting all these errors in the right place. So what did we get to? We know we have to put Wix version in the right place, then add another error message, a better error message for all of this. And for this case as well, when we can't create a 4-part version from it, let's see, that gives us the Windows assembly version. So this will give us, so all of this will handle the case where the bundle cannot get a 4-part version. We need the 4-part version so that we can update the exe parts of the burn bundle that have to be valid Windows versions, which are the 4-part versions that we know and love so much. And that's what all of this is doing here, setting these things just right for the end. Let's see, what else are we missing then? I think we're really close. I think we're quite close. Need to go then add some more tests and things like that to clean things up a bit. But let's see, can we get this test? Let's just take a quick look. Oh, this is cannot build package bind. Right, so this is a case where the product version is being checked too early for MSIs, right? Okay, that'll be a straight thing to fix. And here is where, wait, what did we find this? This one is the BA manifest is missing information about the version. Oh, so all of my checks, so that's that string equals 0. Sorry, the string is no longer empty when I was checking all those against the file version, the product version. Those are returning empty strings, and we're ending up with nothing in the manifest. All right, great. So that'll be a good thing for us to go and fix next time. And then these are remote payloads, which are, I don't know what its problem is. Oh, it's missing the version 2. All right, so somehow I have broken setting versions on exe package payloads. Great. We'll fix that. That'll be pretty straightforward, I hope, to sort out. And then we can build a semantic version MSI. And what did I do here? Yes, I set the version equal to 25700. So this is not a valid version. So here I am saying that it should be successful. And it's not successful because MSI doesn't support semantic versions. So I need to change this test. This is a test we added when we were playing with all the semantic versions inside MSIs, seeing what does and does not work. And 257 doesn't quite work. All right. Well, I'd hoped we'd get really close to finishing, or maybe even finish today, but we didn't quite. But I do think we're pretty close. Plus need to add a few tests. So hey, another 90 minutes in a week, I think will probably work out just fine. Well, until then, you guys keep coding. You know I am.